Hi, my name is Jacob Borges, and I will be presenting Night of the Living Dead. This independent horror film was directed by George Romero and was released theatrically in 1968. It became a cult classic and was an essential to drive-in movie theaters. George is the reason why the zombie subgenre exists within the horror genre. He made a whole zombie franchise after this film and inspired many other directors. Also, the budget for this film was $114,000 USD and made $30 million within the box office. The lead role consisted of Dwayne Jones, which is shown in the photo, Judith O'Dea, and Carl Hardman. Night of the Living Dead is about a group of Pennsylvania civilians that are caught up in an apocalypse where undead cannibals are out for human flesh and must barricade themselves within a house for their safety. They are forced to work together and struggle to make decisions as a group for what actions they must make due to conflict and disagreement. They are put under pressure and must fight for their survival against these flesh eaters. The characters in this film consist of Ben, played by Dwayne Jones, being the main protagonist that is represented as a confident leader, Barbara, played by Judith O'Dea, being another protagonist that is traumatized for most of the picture, and Harry, played by Carl Hardman, which was considered to be the antagonist and was a selfish coward within this film. Here is an example of a conflict between Ben and Harry.
From this wave of mass murder.
Don't shoot! We're from town.
A
radio.
County, Pennsylvania. The Butler County Sheriff has verified that reports of murder victims being partially eaten by their slayers is true. No further details available at this time. However,
How long you guys been down there? I could use some help up here.
That's the cellar. It's the safest place.
You mean you didn't hear the racket we were making up here?
How were we supposed to know what was going on? Could have been those things for all we knew.
That girl was screaming. Sure, you must know what a girl screaming sounds like. Those things don't make any noise. Anybody would know somebody if they needed help.
Look, it's kind of hard to hear what's going on from down there.
We thought we could hear screams, but for all we knew, that could have meant those things were in the house afterward.
And you wouldn't come up and help.
Well, if there were more of
The
it.
racket sounded like the place was being ripped apart. How were we supposed to know what was going on?
Now, wait a minute. You just got finished saying you couldn't hear from down there. Now you say it sounded like the place was being ripped apart. It would be nice if you get your story straight, man.
All right, now you tell me. I'm not going to take that kind of a chance when we got a safe place. We luck into a safe place, and you're telling us we got to risk our lives just because somebody might need help, huh?
Yeah, something like that.
All right, why don't we settle this?
Look, mister, we came up. Okay, we're here. Now I suggest we all go back downstairs before any of those things find out we're in here.
They can't get in here.
You got the whole place boarded up?
Yeah, most of it. All but a few spots upstairs. They won't be hard to fix.
You're insane. The cellar's the safest place.
I'm telling you, they can't get in here.
And I'm telling you, those things turned over our car. We were damn lucky to get away at all. Now you tell me those things can't get through this lousy pile of wood?
His wife and kids downstairs. The kid's hurt.
Well, I still think we're better off up here.
We could strengthen everything up, Mr. Cooper.
With all of us working, we could fix this place up in no time. We have everything we need up here.
We can take all that stuff downstairs with us. Man, you're really crazy, you know that? You got 1,000,000 windows up here. All these windows, you're gonna make them strong enough to keep these things out, huh?
I told you those things don't have any strength. I smashed 3 of them and pushed another one out the door.
Did you hear me when I told you they turned over our car?
Oh, hell, any good 5 men can do that.
That's my point. Only there's not going to be 5 or even 10. There's going to be 20, 30, maybe 100 of those things. And as soon as they know we're here, this place is going to be crawling with them.
Well, if there are that many, they'll probably get us wherever we are.
Look, the cellar. The cellar, there's only one door, right? Just one door, that's all we have to protect. Tom and I fixed it so it locks and boards from the inside. But up here, all these windows, why, we'd never know where they were going to hit us next.
You got a point, Mr. Cooper. But down in the cellar, there's no place to run to. I mean, if they did get in, there'd be no back exit. We'd be done for. We can get out of here if we have to. And we got windows to see what's going on outside. But down there with no windows, if a rescue party did come, we wouldn't even know it.
But the cellar is the strongest place.
The cellar's a death trap.
I don't know, Mr. Cooper. I think he's right. You know how many's out there?
I don't know. I think maybe 6 or 7.
Look, you two can do whatever you like. I'm going back down to the cellar, and you better decide. Because I'm going to board up that door, And I'm not going to unlock it again no matter what happens.
Now, wait a minute, Mr. Cooper.
No, I'm not going to wait. I've made my decision, now you make yours.
An interesting fact is that this film is in the public domain due to errors within the credits. They had to change the title Night of the Flesh Eaters to Night of the Living Dead to avoid a lawsuit from the makers of the 1964 picture Night of the Flesh Eaters. They forgot to add in copyright notices when they changed the title, and it is still in public domain till this day. Another fun fact is that George Romero was inspired by the novel I Am Legend written by Richard Matheson when he created this classic film. He claims that it inspired the story in many scenes. Night of the Living Dead takes place during the 1960s counterculture movement, where there were individuals against this movement which are being symbolized as the attack of the flesh eaters. Racism also plays a major role within this conception due to the main character being a black man and how the 1960s was a brutal time for people of color, especially in cinema. Keep in mind that Martin Luther King was also killed the same year that this film came out, making this a very hard time in society. Many see Night of the Living Dead as a very important piece within the horror genre. Abby Montel states in an article that this movie is cited as the first modern zombie film, and it features the first black horror lead being Dwayne Jones. Just this film itself opened many doors, changed the genre, and created a whole subgenre within horror movies. When the film first premiered in 1968, lots of critics were outraged that kids were being exposed to such a disturbing nightmare, and it's still banned in Germany because of its explicit violence and gore. Robert Ebert attended the premiere and stated that the kids in the audience were stunned. There was almost complete silence. The movie had stopped being delightfully scary about halfway through and had become unexpectedly terrifying. This film was ahead of its time and still shocks audiences today.